Hello friends, Namaskaram. So in this video we are going to see how we can create SEO optimized content using Cora report in our pro version. So we got some feedback and some of the users said that it would be great if we can have it everything automated because in basic version we had two forms. One is for entity LSI cleanup and another one is for Cora content, and there was GPT-4o came in between over the last month, so last few week ago. So we have developed this Quora based on page SEO pro version that fully automatize everything we do. So first of all, there are two steps when using the pro version. The first step is you should create a folder in any one of your Google Drive. So open your web browser and you should be just having any name of folder. It can be any name. Just have a name which you can recall later. So create just any one of a folder in your Google Drive, upload all your .xlx Excel reports only, because when Cora creates a on-page report, it basically have so many of the files created, so we only require the .xlsx file here. So I have uploaded this file. So the next thing we need to do is open it within the browser, and you will see this extension there. That means it was opened in Google Sheets, but it is actually an Excel file, not a Google Sheet. So go to File, Save as Google Sheet, and when you do this, you will notice a pop-up will come and your sheet is now converted to the Google Sheet and there is no more XLSX there. Now, important thing you can see here as well, that when you have Excel file, it have .xlsx. When you don't have that extension, it is Google Sheet. Another thing is this X says it's an Excel, and this icon, it actually says it's a Google Sheet. So that is how you can differentiate. If you give the system Excel sheet, it won't work. Right now we have developed this for Cora version 7.2, which is the last stable release. And as soon as some of the test goes perfect, we may be coming with the 7.5 version of Cora toolkit. So right now you only use 7.2. You never use your Excel sheet details. You always make sure you convert it to save as Google Sheet, and it's actually a Google Sheet. Now the next thing you need to do is you need to go to share with others, and I want to give you our app ID, that is ewebtechz@gmail.com. You will see the email ID on the screen. So that is where you need to share it, and make sure you share it with editor privileges, because we want to have the editor privilege. So as soon as you type the email ID here, it would give you a editor access, and then done. You don't need to do anything else. Just leave them restricted. Everything rest same. Just put up the email ID, choose editor, and done. Now there are two steps done. One, we converted our Excel file to a Google Sheet file menu. When we open the Excel file, we click on file menu and save as a Google Sheet. And second step we have done is the Google Sheet version of the report we have shared with our email ID, which we gave you. Now the next step is, this is our Quora form. It is so easy now, only 4 boxes. Whenever you log into the form, you will be logging through your email ID. So this is our app ID. You can share all of your sheets to this ID. This is our app ID. So in my case, I'm logged into this ID. It can be your ID when you log into the form. So whenever the content is created, it would be sent to your Gmail ID by using which you are logged into the form. So that's how the email works. So when the system generates the content, it would send you the content to the Gmail ID. Now the brand, so maybe in Marcus I can have our brand as Webji. We have two choice, just enter it. And whatever the platform.openai.com key you have, you should enter here. Please keep in mind it's in beta, so there can be hit and trial or some errors or some tuning required. And over the last 1 or 2 months, I have been trying my level best to cover up the OpenAI cost for you all with the free trials provided to everybody. So be with us. I have already tested it a lot of time and it is working fine. But on an average, it is costing around $0.5 to $1 somewhere per article. You can always create a separate API key to use with this form so you can keep track of your cost. And one more thing, we don't store this API key with us, so it is only used on runtime. So whenever you run the form, it is used there. That's it. So every time you have another task to do, you have to put the OpenAI key. For security reason, we want your OpenAI key to be entered by you every time. So you know your cost, how many times you have run this form. So we don't store it, we don't share it. You can create a separate key. You can restrict a specific budget to your key, increase it over the period of time. That's all up to you. So we take no responsibility for any of your form uses. We don't have a stop button. So suppose you fill this form maybe like 10 times and you say that I want to stop the content. We don't have a stop button. So once the sheet is given, make sure the form is only having the 4 variables. So make sure everything is good. I am creating this video just for your help. And once you enter your key and sheet, it might take 10 minutes. Say like most of time it would generate the content you need, but maybe if there is any error, I'm always watching the things and making sure it is working fine. And I will be tuning the script in the near future. So whenever I'll be doing some test, I will take down this form during this test phase. So now you enter your GPT-4 key. There is no separate for key. You can just create another key for using this form, and so that it can help you keeping your track of your cost. So just enter that key here and then Google Sheet report. So what we do here is, this is our Google Sheet version, right? We have discussed it in details. So after this d slash, you will find the URL in the UL, the sheet ID. So always make sure d slash after that. From there, you need to copy before slash edit. So make sure the sheet ID is properly provided and submitted. If in case you provided it Excel version, not the Google Sheet version, form will not work. And because it checks for the sheet at the first step, so it will time out at the first step and won't cost you anything at all in your OpenAI. So I would suggest you to try using it for one content at a time. You can understand it is kind of a form which you can fill maybe 10 times in 5 minutes or 20 times in 5 minutes. So please understand we are into the testing phase. So try it for once, wait for 10 minutes, see the content. If the content do not comes up, then just update me in the Skype, okay? And if the content comes up, then I would suggest you to enter another one. I don't want you to argue with me that I filled the form 4 times and 2 time content came and I was charged $5 or $3 or $2. Please understand, you can use any software with GPT version. All the software asks for your key. So this is the same here. We don't store the key. So we are not responsible for your uses. So if you say me that I filled the form 5 times, I would say it is in testing phase. You should enter one form at a time. So even if something goes wrong, it is still below $1 of the cost, or maybe it doesn't cost at all, because if it is just went into the system, and if suppose you share the ID of an Excel sheet instead of a sheet ID of a Google Sheet version, then it won't work. So I have created this detailed video to elaborate you, and here we need to put our OpenAI key, submit, and I have noticed it takes like 10 minutes. And I'm watching all the outputs, the quality of the output, like what kind of quality of the content is coming. Like last night we had uh, one of our tester, his content was created like odd, so I fine tuned it, and today I can say it working very well for last couple of tests. So I hope you like the idea. When we started doing the Cora optimization, the first thing come to us that this is a very big report, so what to cover, where to cover, how to cover, there can be so many questions. Now what we have done is, it may be take you just 1 minute. Just save it as a Google Sheet, share it to the ID, and fill up these four little boxes and submit. And 10 minutes is the time. If it takes 20 minutes, even if it takes just 20 minutes, that means something is odd. So in that case, you can update me. I can take a look on it, and I want it to be stress tested, but not like too much at the same time. So I request you, just try one content at a time. If the last content is done, you put up another one. If that is done, you put up two more or one more. So don't try to put up like 10 or 20 content request at the same moment of time. It can freeze the server, it can do anything, because we are in a testing phase. So scalability would be there in the near future. Thank you very much. I hope you find it useful, and I hope these four boxes makes you core optimization way easy. Thank you very much. Namaskaram.